What up, what up? It is Friday night. It is the 5th night of the 2020 version of the Wild West Shootout, and this is Chad coming at you, and had a good night Wednesday night. Hope you've seen that video. If you haven't yet, go back and check it out. Had some good laps on there. Got to tour the pits, and I think there was even a little car got up and smacked the wall pretty good. Caught a little glimpse of that, so check that out. But been a blast out here. Like I said, I've been working hard. Music City Recon, getting around to dealers during the day. Didn't video much today. We were just riding around, passing out W9 so we could get paid to some of our dealerships. So not a whole lot exciting going on, but did want to come to you tonight and catch up with you a little bit and hang out at the races for a little bit. So try to get some good shots, some racing, try to we'll go walk through the pits again and look at some of all the haulers and all the cars that are here. I think for the weekend it'll pick up a little bit as far as the car count. I don't know it'll be a ton. I know there's probably been a few that are not gonna continue racing that have already headed home, either from mechanical failure or a number of things, or some folks. I did hear a couple maybe of the X Mod racers, and a few folks say that they were maybe going to another track, but again, not sure where everybody will be. But knowing those guys will move around a little bit. But I know there's maybe a couple new faces that'll be in late models that haven't been out for the rest of the week, but we're pulling up on it now. Wanted to show you a little view. Like I said, there's the track is out there. I don't know if you can see it just yet. And man, I know the sun is kind of in the way. I think I'm trying to get it there behind the car a little bit. If you can see that beautiful mountains in the past, in the background there. No doubt, from what I can tell, no doubt the most beautiful background for a racetrack I've ever been at, maybe other than the IMS Phoenix Raceway for the NASCAR race. It's about the same. It's obviously here in Phoenix, it's a little bit on the other side of town, but yeah, just an absolutely gorgeous setting. And I'm gonna flip it around here so you can see as we pull into the track here. We're gonna pull in and then swing around and head to get parked. All right, here real quick. I'm gonna shut this dang navigation off because it is relentless. It will keep going. So hopefully, like I said, you can see that. Folks rolling in here. Welcome to PT Motor Park, Arizona Speedway. Mud Bogs tank. Not sure what that's all about, but there's Earl Pearson Jr., Chris Simpson, Ryan Shirley right there. Looks like all the cars are fired up and getting ready for some hot lap sessions. I think the hot lap started at 5. It's a little after 5 now, so it looks like maybe there's a few guys headed out to do hot laps. Yeah, Garrett Alberson's team driving for it. I didn't get who they said he was driving for this week, but they're out here. He had a really good heat race and had some misfortune, but Garrett from out here, out west, but is living in the Midwest, or excuse me, in Louisiana right now. So not sure where we're gonna have to park. Looks like, man, this place is packed. So looks like we're pulling over. Yeah, they parking us out in the sticks. That's all right. We advantage. That's what we do. We are efficient. Get in trouble, but I'll try to sneak right up here on the end right here. Yeah. Sorry, my hand's in the way. So we park, we'll get out, get my stuff, and I'll be back with y'all in a minute. We'll do some walking around the track. What's up, what's up? Chatter with you, and it is Saturday. We're in the Saturday edition. It's gonna be the second to last night. We're actually gonna be racing on Sunday as well. So looking forward to some good racing tonight. Just like last night. About to get signed in at the pit booth, and let's enjoy some racing. I'm walking through, but while we're walking through the pits, wanted to just explain to you a little bit about how dirt late model racing works as far as the way the programs are put out. Now, you know, one of the reasons that I really enjoy dirt track racing, and you know, personally I'll get to what my favorite part of it is, but you know, they work through on a qualifying basis. So like tonight with 45 cars, they're gonna have a qualifying, they have 2 laps to qualify. They'll take the best of the 2. They group qualify them here, so they don't always, but if they have enough cars and I really like what they've done here. I don't know that I've seen it very often. It may be more common than I think, but they're actually heat race qualifying them. So, you know, if there's 45 cars, there's 4 heat races, so there's, you know, whatever. So there's 11 cars in each heat race, let's say 11 or 12, give or take, you know, with 44 or 45 with 4 heat races. So they qualify against those 11 drivers, and they also are group qualifying them. So they're qualifying against just those 11 cars. So the track conditions are very similar, right, from the first car to the 10th or 11th car versus, say, the first car and the last car, because obviously if you're, you know, you may or may not be familiar with dirt at all, but in dirt racing, the cars come out, and it really depends on how the track has been set up, but more times than not, the track, after maybe the first few cars, is usually pretty fast, or fastest towards the beginning of qualifying, and then again, depending on how many cars they have, the track really starts to slick off, like I said, and get smooth, right? So there's not quite as much grip, and so that could be a major disadvantage if you qualify 40th versus first, right? So in an event like this week and weekend now coming, they do the top, they just qualify against the cars that they're going to heat race against. So it's pretty cool how even it makes the racing, and you can kind of tell who's good and who's not, right? Because like I said, sometimes if they're just doing heat racing and they just qualify them 1 through 40, the 40th car could be, 35 through 40th car could be one of your faster cars, but could still have a terrible, or what would look like a terrible qualifying time, which would put them a little bit behind the 8 ball, and they would have to race through their heat field. And if they get caught up or something like that in a 10 to 12 lap heat race, then bury them back in the feature, and just not quite as maybe fair for the driver, and sometimes could create exciting racing, but most of the time just puts that particular driver at a potential disadvantage. So the way they're qualifying, really cool. Qualifying against only the cars that they're going to be in their heat race with, and they're qualifying 3 at a time. So they're getting through qualifying fairly quickly, because you got qualifying, which again, some people like it, some people don't. I enjoy it. You watch the times, and it really just sets the whole race up. You get to know a little bit about each of the drivers and the sponsors and all that good stuff. And then they move into, like I was just discussing at length, heat races, which personally are my favorite. It's like it's a heat race, right? It's a 10 lap, 10, 12 lap, basically dash to see where you're going to start in the feature. I think this week and weekend have been taking the top 4 out of the 11 out of the heat races. So they take the top 4 that automatically, if you finish in the top 4, then you automatically qualify for the feature race. And then if you didn't make it into the top 4 in that race, then you would be put into a B main, which can happen, which you can still transfer to the race. I think they've had top 4 in each of those heat races, and you go to B mains, and I think they're taking the top 2 out of each B main, and in this particular setup they're just doing 2 B mains. So you take your top 4 from each race and 2 B mains. That's who makes the feature, and then they could have any number of provisionals depending on how many cars they're actually wanting to start. I could be wrong on that. I've told you that, but now I think that they may be taking the top 3 out of the B mains, but I'll get back to you on that, so we'll know exactly what that is. But anyways, and then you go into the feature, and like I said, it depends on. Sometimes they have a redraw where they'll have a dash where maybe the top 6 qualifying cars will go into a redraw, right? And then that is supposed to be fan friendly and give the fans an opportunity to see if there's the fastest car qualifying, well, he might end up starting 4th or 5th. I get it from a fan's perspective. I am a fan, have been a fan, have never raced full time, or never raced. I've been with a race team before a little bit and hung out, so I've seen it from the racer side, and I would say for the most part it's kind of give or take. But so that's a little breakdown on how dirt racing works. I like the dirt car, the way they lay out, better than you would just to go to if you go to a NASCAR race and you see them, they qualify, they all line up in this big long feature race, and they run 250 laps, and that's it. Again, there's been plenty of exciting racing that way as well, but at the dirt level, that's how they do it. And I forgot to mention that the features in this particular series of events have been 30 lap features, and typically in dirt racing and super late models, They run anywhere from 25 lap features all the way up to 100 lap features. I don't think I've ever, I'm sure there's been one, but I've never been to one, and I've never heard of, especially at a competitive professional level, that these guys are at any more than 100 laps. Typically your 100 lapper is the longest feature length that they'll run. So that's just a little breakdown. Again, this is Chad. I'm out here in Arizona, out here in the Santan Valley, which is about 25 minutes east, 25-30 minutes east of Phoenix, or East Phoenix, and we're out here hanging out at the Arizona Speedway. And again, we've kind of gonna go through the pits and hang out. So this little clip behind me, so we'll continue through the pits, give you guys some shots of the action, and we'll go from there. That kid is 14 years old.